Hi everyone, I'm testing today the wood burning pen set from Action. I got this with just under €8 and it includes a lot of tips and also a stencil for letters and some numbers and shapes. At the end of my tests, I managed to do this. If you want to see how I did it, keep on watching. At first, I wanted to draw some shapes with a pencil in order to get some insights about how different wood pieces are reacting. It's just like drawing on paper, but it helps a little bit to have an idea of what I want to do and then focus on the burning part and not worrying about the shapes. And I just looked around my crafting stash and I found a few different wood pieces I wanted to use. I don't know if you are like me, but I just keep on buying stuff from the craft store and never end up using it. And when I'm using it, I'm so proud of myself. And this is the case for this small wood piece. I'm trying to draw something on it, and it's like remembering doodling from kindergarten age. It's just a simple flower. I'm not doing anything complex. I'm just drawing and relaxing at the same time. Yeah, let the fun begin. Previously, I watched 2 or 3 YouTube videos to see what I have to do. And the first lesson is pull toward yourself, not don't push the pen because it will make ugly blobs if you do that. Something I learned myself right away here in this example is the wood grains are very important, and there are areas depending on how the wood piece is cut and so on. There are areas which are very difficult to correctly burn, and other areas which are very smooth and nice, and that's basically what you want to have. This is just like a discard piece from a previous project of mine. So it's not a dedicated wood piece for wood burning, but that's okay. I love using scraps and practicing. And again, very important, pulling and not pushing with your pen. But even if I just kind of part my design into smaller pieces, it's better than trying to go against the grain or trying to do it all in one swipe. So basically, when I reached the heart design, it was like my third attempt. I noticed that I was becoming more, I had more trust in myself. So things went rather smooth. I was more secure, I was more precise in my movements. So yeah, it's far from perfect, but I'm happy with how it turned out. And then I got to this small leaf, and it was my biggest fail of all because if you notice the wood part, it has a lot of visible structures, and every little line kind of gave was a break, was something that was keeping me from sliding down towards my goal. So you can see it's very bad. It's very important if you see the structure kind of avoid, if you can, kind of avoid that that part. So yeah, that's that's, I gave it my best. And of course, um, I was looking forward to test some of the letters in the set, the stencil, and I chose G for no reason other than it included rounded parts and straight parts, and I thought it was a bit more complex. And I will basically spare you my efforts. It was really difficult, and I was trying and trying. I'm like fast forwarding it through the whole thing, and you will see, unfortunately, the result is not not as expected. Then I'm trying on this small stick, which is great for any kind of crafting projects. And it's again a smoother, very smooth surface. Sometimes it also has some problem areas which are visible. So again, select your sticks carefully in order to make your life easier, but still it works quite well. I'm using this for I use this to write the type of seeds I was planting in spring. And I'm thinking about using this to write and have a more permanent writing that's not going away after rain. Let's see. Now I'm going to my flower. The handle is kind of getting hot. It's not burning, but I feel it. And at the flower, you just notice that I had some practice. So practice is very, very important. It's moving the wood piece instead of moving my hand with the pen. And I'm stopping and pulling towards me, pulling towards the pen and the hand, and not pushing. One of the very important things, if you get away with something out of this video, is the fact that you have to pull and move the wood piece rather than your tool when possible. If you think that the whole thing is just as easy as drawing, well, it's not, because it's not as smooth of a surface as you have with the paper. And also you have to be careful not to stick around too much in just one place, because then you create holes or blobs, visible blobs. But it's still a very nice activity in order to keep yourself focused. And I'm just dotting in the middle of the flower to make it look more like a flower, a center flower with more shape. But the thing is that in this activity, you have to be there also with your mind. You have to be very careful not to burn yourself, so you are really, really focused on that. And you also have to um, follow the design. You have to be in control always, so you are focused also on your hand movements. And this helps a lot to kind of eliminate other stressful thoughts you might have at that point in time, when you might very worried that you might burn yourself. You cannot think about other stressful factors in your life. So this is a very good way to give your brain a break. from the whole stress of day to day. Of course, that does not eliminate the causes of stress, that does not eliminate the problems in your life, but what it does is just give your brain a break. And sorry for my head coming through, but I'm just very precisely trying to make bigger dots with the tip. And yeah, it's kind of what I got. What do you think? The last item I have to do with this very sharp tip is my little doll. And very important, just stabilize it on a surface and have your hand also um, fixed on a surface. You cannot do this precisely while holding the little doll in the air. It's just not very wise to do that. You can do it, of course, if you are very precise. Of course, you can do anything. But at the beginning, I think just stabilizing the hands and what you want to burn on the on a surface is quite a good idea. And I'm trying to make some small eyelashes at the end. The tip is very sharp, so it helps doing this kind of small shapes. Uh, I'm planning to do this like with a little dress, and yeah, it looks cute, I think. And again, trying a new tip and hoping that my letters will come out nice with this tip, but it was impossible. So I have to work on that. Maybe it's just the surface I want to use the problem. So this kind of wood piece with those wood grains visible. So what I tried afterwards is just dotting um, with that tool on the surface. But what what I was noticing, I was losing the sharpness. When you use the stencil, you have very sharp lines, and with that, it's just losing sharpness. And I gave up on the letter, and then I tried to doodle to see what this kind of tip. It's like a rounded tip, but slanted. Um, and yeah, I think it can do very nice in shading. And as you see, I did not get any experience from that doodling, but I'm still jumping directly in my leaf. And at first, I thought, oh, I just ruined the leaf, but I did not give up, and like doing dotting with some very light movements, swiping even, and yeah, at least I put some color in that leaf. And again, a moment of precision that makes you really focused on what you are doing. And then I thought, okay, the flower has no volume, has no like doesn't impact. You see the leaf, but you don't see the flower. And trying to just doodle it a little bit to see, can I kind of shade, can I kind of color in what happens when I keep the tool on longer on the surface, what happens if I use the side and so on. So just practicing some movements, and without any concrete result, I decided to go back again to my flower, correct a little bit the leaf, practice a little bit, some strokes on the leaf, and then I just dived into the to my flower. And lightly, with kind of light movements, I'm trying to bring some color into my flower. And I, I was a bit afraid that I would ruin it, but no, it's not ruined. Here you can see again the problem that a surface that is not so smooth can generate. You can see the line very strongly, and that's why, yeah, maybe it was not the best choice, but I still wanted to move on, and I was hoping to repair that visible line there at the bottom petal. And very, very slowly, everything is like lightly touching. I'm trying to color the petals, and it's not that bad. It's something that I think anyone can do. It's just try to practice on another piece, and then it's you can do it. You can do it. And if you cannot do it, you can do it on next piece, and so on. So it's not the end of the world. Nobody knows. It's just you and your wood piece. So just try it. I think a flower is a very good first mini project you can do with a wood burning tool. And it just shape, and try to bring a little bit of depth into your flower. What do you think? I'm very, very, very happy with how it turned out. And then I wanted to show you how I switched the tips without waiting to cool down. Uh, but please unplug your tool when you do this. It's safer that way. And this kind of weird shape is perfect for doing lines. It's just so nice. And you are able to do straight lines with it instead of fiddling with the very sharp tip I used at the beginning. I'm trying to also make a very thick line, but it's not that easy, especially if you are working against the wood structure. And it looked like more like a fence. It could be a nice thing in some projects, but yeah, trying to do some petals, and it burns very quickly, so one should be really careful in how and move the tool systematically. But I still did not manage to make a decent shape with it. I need to practice more. It's not something that one can really use quickly. One has to learn a little bit more. And one more thing I wanted to add, it's very easy to tend to screw in the new tip, which is cold, directly with your hand, but don't do that, because until you are finished with the installation, the metal is a very good conductor of heat, so it will burn your hands. Use the pliers also for the tips you replace. And I reached my favorite tip of all, this kind of rounded tip. It reminds me of a blunt pen, and it works very, very nice. And even on the leaf I did at the beginning, it still made a more decent shape than it did, than the very sharp tip did. And I realized that I can also color in with this tip quite nicely. And I was very, very excited about my discovery. And that's a point where I just burn myself on a little bit on my little finger. I was so focused that I was moving my little finger, and I touched that saucer-like parts at the base of the tool. The good thing is that I did not burn myself badly. It's just a little bit touching, and I reacted quickly. So coloring, I'm fascinated about how this tool colors in. I think it will be my most used tip, because I also discovered that I can just doodle with it, and it's so smooth, so nice. And finally I'm able to fill in my letter from before. It's something that, okay, I can do the contour with a very sharp one, and then I can just fix all my mistakes with this one, and it's great. And the fact that one can really directly draw with it is also time saving. So you don't have to use the pen at the beginning to draw your designs. You can directly, if you want to, you can directly draw with this tip, and it looks pretty decent. I'm now trying to use this leaf shape tip. I'm not sure for what this type of tool can be used, but look, it's already warm. So I can just use it. I just finished screwing it at the top, and I'm kind of, look, it's already burning the wood. So I'm trying to figure out what it does, and I'm thinking now, okay, this is like a tip of a leaf, and you can use the sides for a little bit of shading, and let's see what I can make with that tip. And yeah, of course I'm tending to create a leaf because that helps quite a lot. The shape is very nice for doing the curves. I can also imagine that one can do eyes with it, for example. So this kind of rounded shape helps create the shape of an eye. And when you turn the tool with the tip, I notice it's very precise. So you can just use it as a tool with a very sharp tip. But of course, for very sharp tip points, you have to be careful about the wood structure. I'm now having trouble again because of my wood piece. And at the end, I wanted to also try one of the stamps included. And when using those kind of stamps, use the pliers on the base of the stamp and not on the side, because you can ruin the corners. And again, it's already warm. I can just use it, and it's burning. I noticed that I did not make a precise imprint on all the sides, but actually this is quite easy to correct. You just go on the same spot again, and you push more the corner, the side you did not imprint that well. So it's a nice way to. And I was thinking about my flower, and I wanted to give it a frame with it. I thought, how can I use this tip, this kind of star-shaped, flower-shaped tip on my project And then I thought, okay, you can just make a decorative edge on it. And again, if the imprint is not as you want, you can just go back. It's anyway fully burned, so it's black. You can just go back and no one will notice. I will fast forward through it. I'm just going quickly through all the on all the sides, correcting my mistakes, and it's I found this part very relaxing. The pen was getting warm again, but it was still manageable, so I did not have to use gloves or anything. If you've come this far in the video, I want to thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and I hope this video um, gave you some inspiration on me, or maybe just motivated you to try this type of burning pen. There's unlimited possibilities. I'm thinking about a few projects I want to do with it. So if you are curious, please consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye.